It's Tuesday, the 8th of December 2020. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Today's headlines. The Prime Minister wants more fintechs to shift to Australia, as the Reserve Bank indicates a light regulatory touch for parts of the sector. That's our main story. Plus, Victoria and New South Wales lose their AAA credit ratings, a new $3 billion bid for Link Group, and Facebook and Google close to a deal with the government over content. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has made a plea for innovative financial service firms to shift to Australia, as the Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe gave the go-ahead for a light-touch regulatory regime for some new players. Addressing the Singapore FinTech Festival, Mr Morrison said Australia was a natural home for so-called fintechs, which are innovative financial service firms. Such firms range from deposit-taking institutions through to credit providers and buy now, pay later players. The Prime Minister said Australia needed a brain gain, including more highly skilled people to develop and commercialise cutting-edge innovations in the sector. His comments came as Dr Lowe said the central bank would only regulate the buy now, pay later sector when it was clear it was in the public interest to do so, and at this point, it wasn't. He said the benefits of innovation in the sector outweighed any costs involved, including no surcharge restrictions. These restrictions mean merchants can't pass on the cost of using services like Afterpay and Zip to the customer and must wear it themselves. But the Reserve Bank's approval came with a caveat that it was okay for now, inferring that as the sector grows, the surcharges will be reconsidered. It's a fraught area for regulators and governments. Innovation is critical to productivity, competition, and ultimately economic growth. But understanding the long-term impact of the rollout of fintechs and buy now, pay later products is almost impossible. But for the moment, the Prime Minister and the Reserve Bank has given the green light to new players. In overseas news, the deadline for a Brexit deal has been set for Wednesday European time, after both sides compromised overnight and progress towards a deal was made. However, the European Union's chief negotiator warned he could not guarantee that there'll be an accord. Rudy Giuliani, the former New York mayor who is leading Donald Trump's legal challenges, has been admitted to hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. And Universal Music has acquired Bob Dylan's entire music catalogue, including hits like Blowin' in the Wind and The Times They Are A-Changin', for reportedly hundreds of millions of dollars. Locally, New South Wales and Victoria's credit ratings have been downgraded by S&P Global Ratings. New South Wales has been lowered to AA+ from AAA, while Victoria has slipped to just AA. It's the first time since 2003 that either state hasn't been top rated. It follows a blowout in the state budgets. It means only the federal and ACT governments now have AAA ratings, although both have a negative outlook. ANZ job ads jumped 14% last month as Victoria reopened. They're down 3% on a year ago and 5% lower than the last pre-pandemic reading in February. In coronavirus news, Tourism Minister Simon Birmingham said the government was continuing to try and bring home expats stuck overseas. There have been about 14,000 people able to get back home during the past 3 months. Western Australia Premier Mark McGowan reopened his state's borders with Victoria and New South Wales overnight. It was more good news for the airlines, and Qantas's share price rose more than 4% on the news. There were no new cases of community-transmitted COVID-19 yesterday. Facebook and Google will be able to calculate the monetary worth of online readers that they deliver to news websites when determining the amount of money they should pay media organisations for the value of journalism on their platforms. It's a significant win for the tech giants, who have always argued that they deliver a much bigger audience than media companies ever could achieve on their own. But they will be asked to pay for content, something the companies have fought against globally. Woolworths has opened a third dark store in Sydney's west to fulfil online orders. The 15,000 square metre site is 4 times the size of a full-service supermarket and will create up to 900 jobs for personal shoppers. The so-called dark store will service the central part of Sydney. And new research has revealed the most boring or energy-draining jobs are working in call centres and spending your day in customer service. The most stimulating jobs come in healthcare and medical, design and architecture, information technology, and education and training. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. There's more on all of these stories in today's full Fear and Greed podcast, as well as an interview with BPay Chief Executive John Banfield. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.